Many viewers noticed that there were way too many videos in October, and I honestly feel really uncomfortable thinking that I basically drowned you in content. Something pretty unpleasant happened to me, and before the video starts, I'll explain what exactly happened. I just want to say that this definitely won't happen in November. Videos will come out once every 2 days, unless we get some really valuable and official leaks or teasers from the creators of the show. I'll diversify the content with a lot more interesting videos that won't be focused only on episode 7, but on the amazing digital circus as a whole. And today we're just going to sum up all the official info we know about episode 7. But before that, please read the following. Before we start, please write in the comments what topics you're actually interested in and what you think should be discussed and explored as deeply as possible. A lot of people noticed that during a day at the beach, Jax was pretty much missing from the screen. You can only spot him chilling in the background, sitting alone and just watching everyone else. It's obvious right away he ain't comfortable being around the others, but the real reason behind that might actually surprise you, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now. First off, you can see that pretty much everyone's rocking different beach outfits, while Jax didn't even bother changing. He just stuck with his regular clothes. That already tells us he distanced himself from the group way before they even started changing. Most likely, right after the new adventure got announced, Jax just went straight to a lounge chair to chill by himself. Now let's talk about how he's feeling. You can tell he really didn't want to be there, and there's a couple reasons for that. I feel like Jax just wanted to stay in his room after everything that went down in episode 6. He probably just wanted to chill, clear his head, not think about whether he'd snapped at someone again so his actually pretty sensitive heart wouldn't slip up like that once more. But as we all know, Caine doesn't really care what anyone wants. What matters to him is that everyone takes part in his adventures. So yeah, it's pretty clear Jax was there against his will. That's exactly why he picked the most distant, quiet spot right away. But then, why doesn't he go up to Pomni, at least to try talking to her? Like I said earlier, Jax is actually a really sensitive character with a whole mix of emotions. Guilt, shame, all that. Even though both we and Jax understand why everything went down the way it did, from Pomni's point of view, he looks like the cockiest guy around who doesn't value anything except his own fun. Jax totally gets that. And honestly, he's just scared that if he tries to approach Pomni himself, it might end badly. Most likely he's just waiting for Pomni to, make the first move and come talk to him. But since we've already seen the key moments from this adventure, it's pretty clear Jax ain't gonna get that chance, cause Pomni's busy building a friendship with Regatha. So yeah, from that one seemingly minor shot of Jax sitting alone, we can already catch a ton of hidden details. It once again shows that Jax is a pretty complex character who's still trapped in that cool guy persona he built for himself. Most likely, the first third, or maybe even the first half of episode 7 is going to slowly lead us into the main storyline of the amazing digital circus, and Jax is probably going to be the key character in all that. I mean, at this point, every other character's story has basically been wrapped up. Their struggles, their growth, all that. Gangle and Zooble finally became real friends. Both managed to accept themselves for who they are, and Gangle even stopped dependent on her comedy mask. Cougar didn't really change all that much, but we finally got it confirmed that he's actually a great psychologist who knows exactly how to handle anyone. Pomni's slowly gotten used to the digital circus, and at this point it's safe to say she's pretty much forgotten about the word exit and learned to live with whatever this world throws at her. Meanwhile, Regatha seems to have finally stopped hiding behind that fake happy mask and actually found herself a real friend. But Jax? Yeah, he's still the one character who hasn't really been fully revealed yet. Sure, we know he's a pretty complicated guy, and most of what he's done so far came from that fear of getting close to someone again and losing another friend. But the important thing here is that we still haven't seen the final note of his storyline, and episode 7 just has to finally wrap that up. Of course, episode 7's gonna kick off the bigger storyline of the digital circus, but we shouldn't forget that along with all that, we're also gonna see even more interactions between the rest of the characters. Even though episode 7's gonna be the craziest one in the whole history of the digital circus so far, I'm almost 100% sure it's also gonna be the kindest. And honestly, I've got proof that episode 7's gonna be the first one where all the characters actually become real friends with each other. In episode 6, we saw Gangle and Zooble getting closer to each other, and it looks like Pomni and Regatha are finally going to become real friends too. Cougar's always been the kind-hearted one, the first to step in and help, and right now Jax is basically the only lone wolf left in the digital circus. The most legit leak for the new episode is this sneak peek, and since we know this part's just the intro and won't reveal any serious info, it makes sense that the main action's going to happen later. Even so, we can already see how well everyone's interacting with each other, except for Jax. The problem right now is that they're all basically hanging out in little friend groups. Here's where it gets really interesting. If we remember that Gooseworx leak where we clearly see Jax in his room and Kinger's silhouette, it becomes obvious that Jax has actually decided to talk through all his problems. And based on all of Kinger's previous dialogue, we can conclude that after this, let's call it therapy, Jax's mental state's gonna stabilize, and he'll finally be able to just be himself. One problem's gonna get solved, but the thing is, right now there's nothing that's gonna bring everyone together. The key figure to fix this is Caine, who looks like he's slowly starting to lose control over himself. In the previous video, I explained that basically all the characters are admins in the digital circus and can do whatever they want, and they don't even need Caine for that. Right now, almost no one's aware of this except for two characters, Jax and Kinger. Kinger, because of his age, doesn't fully get it, while Jax totally realized this gift. That's why he has keys to all the rooms or can just randomly pull a vacuum out of nowhere. There's no way Caine was thinking about that vacuum in this adventure. Jax just imagined it and it literally appeared. That's also why Pomni saw Exit while nobody else even knew about it. She just really wanted it to exist, and it showed up. Though, of course, not exactly the way Pomni pictured it in her mind. Going back to that Gooseworx's leak, after which Jax is supposed to become more loyal and friendly with the others, it actually makes a lot of sense that he's going to tell everyone they can literally create anything in the digital circus. With a power like that, especially considering that with each new day Caine's going to become more and more of a threat, I'm more than sure that all the characters, putting aside old grudges, are finally going to find the strength to come together as one team, all working toward the main goal, finding that mysterious exit. Of course, that's not the only thing that's going to blow us away in Episode 7, and trust me, it's important to understand that Episode 7 isn't going to be like the episodes we're used to. It's going to be something completely different, and that's exactly what we're about to dive into. It's key to get that among all the characters, including Caine.
Well, if you're all gonna be such critics, why don't you suggest a better one? Oh, Zooble, you mismatched cash piano, I'll tear you to pieces! Constructive criticism would be greatly appreciated. I can't tell a compelling story where nothing bad happens. Where's the intrigue, the stakes? Or, yeah, we could all just shoot each other. Here, have guns. I don't care anymore. I didn't say have fun.
It's just a little aimless.
Use the sights.
Caine!
Ugh, fine! We're bringing teams back.
And that post-credits scene straight up shows that Caine's totally and irreversibly losing his mind. I'm more than sure Episode 7's gonna start with a scene where Pomni and Regatha are talking about what they agreed on during the Favorite Character Awards. Then, classic style, Caine shows up, and this time he definitely ain't gonna compromise or look for some comfy adventure for the folks in the digital circus. In Episode 5, we clearly saw that Caine can pull everyone to him from any corner of the circus, and even without any physical interaction, drag them all into a new adventure. Caine's really on the edge now, and his main job is to keep the folks in the digital circus entertained, and since day after day they keep refusing his own adventures, it's just making him worse and worse. Caine's decision to send the characters into a new adventure against their will could end up being one of the key moves that kick off the chaos. I feel like that new adventure they'll get dragged into against their will is going to be pretty short, and since we know the new episode's going to be really long, there's a chance that after that, we'll see another adventure. But that's not exactly what we're talking about right now. After they get back from whatever Caine cooked up, the real riot's going to blow up in the digital circus. Since Caine's slowly losing self-control more and more, there's a pretty good chance something in his adventure is going to end up hurting one of the characters, and when they come back, they're going to start telling Caine everything they think about him and his adventures. That kind of attitude from the digital circus folks ain't gonna go unnoticed by the admin, and in response, he's gonna start spilling everything he thinks about them. From Episode 3, we remember what happens when Caine loses control. Back then, Zooble managed to stop him, but we all get that his instability's just getting worse. And in Episode 7, nobody's gonna be able to hold back this, let's say, destruction of the digital circus. Y'all remember how in Episode 2, Pomni fell through the textures. Since the digital circus ain't really any different from Candy Kingdom overall, they can pull off something similar here too, and after a massive glitch, all the characters will end up in a place like that. But this time, there ain't gonna be any gummy goo, just the 6 main digital circus characters, and that's where the really important stuff's gonna kick off. At that point, all the characters are gonna realize it can't go on like this, and that's where we circle back to our sort of split between main and, exaggeratedly speaking, side characters. From the moment they fall through the textures, every single character is going to be crazy important, and it won't matter if it's Gangle or Jax. I feel like it's going to be Gangle who reminds everyone that at the very start, Pomni kept going on about some kind of exit. But before they all team up as one to get out of the digital circus, they gotta deal with some problems that are right here, right now, and the most obvious one's probably gonna be getting Jax back to normal, cause after Episode 6, it's legit scary what's gonna happen to him.
God, looks stupid.
At that point, Jax is already gonna get that there's no turning back, and that's when he's gonna start honestly telling what's really going on with him. I think that's when they'll show us his memories of Ribbit, who's been hinted at for the second episode in a row. After that story, Jax might even shed a few tears, and that's when the hidden hero of the digital circus steps in, Cougar. We've seen plenty of times how he can be totally level-headed, and I'd even say wise. Cougar's perfect for the role of a therapist, and it's pretty likely that after all that Jax just shared, Cougar's gonna pull him aside and have a real heart-to-heart. And considering that up till now all, let's say, therapy sessions ended up working out, I'm sure that after this, Jax is gonna be a totally normal character and finally be able to drop that tough guy mask. In short, everyone's gonna be cheering on Gangle so she can live without her comedy mask. The friendship between Pomni and Regatha is gonna get even stronger. Overall, after falling through the textures, everyone's gonna get way closer to each other. Then Cougar's gonna step in again with his, let's say, superpowers and bring everyone back into the digital circus. By that time, Caine's gonna calm down and things will get back to normal, and that's when the whole crew's gonna start planning their escape from this trap and looking for that very door. I've got a hunch that after they get back, we might see one more small adventure, this time actually chosen by the characters themselves. We remember that episode 7 turned out way too massive at first, so they had to split it into 2 separate episodes, linked by the same storyline. In that case, I'm sure episode 7's gonna end with someone from the characters finally being able to find that very door after a long search, and that's gonna be how the episode wraps up. And to be fully immersed in the new episode, I suggest we now go over absolutely everything we know about episode 7 so far. In one of her posts, Gooseworx straight up said episode 7's gonna be split into 2 parts. Most likely, the creators originally planned to make 8 EPs instead of 9, but episode 7 turned out so huge they had to break it into 2 separate episodes. And if we remember another one of Gooseworx's posts where she described every episode with one word, episode 7 was described as, huh? So in that case, we get that episode 7's gonna be the climax and the peak of the chaos, after which a lot of mysteries are gonna start making more sense for us. And episode 8's supposed to finally answer all our questions and set us up for the finale of the amazing digital circus. On top of that, Goose dropped the runtime of the new episode and officially confirmed that every next EP is gonna run longer than 30 minutes. Episode 6 was almost 34 minutes long, and it's important to realize that was just the start of the so-called chaos. Y'all remember when Goose straight up told us that one episode's gonna be crazy long, but didn't reveal which one exactly? After that 34-minute episode 6 compared to all the previous ones, we might have thought she was talking about this one. And since I already said episode 7's gonna be the key point in all this chaos, I'm kinda scared to assume she was talking about that one instead. Gooseworx also told us that the total runtime of episodes 6 through 9 is gonna be 2.5 hours, which is 150 minutes. If we round it a bit, that means the last 3 episodes are gonna take up around 120 minutes, so each next EP is gonna be at least 40 minutes long. Honestly, I feel like episode 8's gonna be the shortest one, sitting at around 34 to 35 minutes, while episode 7 might stretch out to a whole 45 minutes. Over a year ago, Gooseworx already told us who each EP is gonna focus on, and if the pilot in episode 2 showed us Pomni's first days and her trying to adapt to the digital circus, episode 3 dug deeper into Cougar and showed us Zubal's real problem. Episode 4 showed what Gangle would be like if you gave her even a little power. Episode 5 revealed Regatha's true identity, and episode 6 showed us the real Jax who's always hiding behind that nihilist mask. Some folks got theories that a new character might pop up there, and we'll definitely talk about that at some point, but still that post was more about uncovering the characters we already got. So in that case, we gotta get that episode 7's just gonna dig even deeper into every single character, and we're gonna see way more real reactions to the truly messed up events of the digital circus. On top of that, one of the users on Tumblr asked Gooseworx, "Random line from episode 7, please?" and got the answer, "You're only making the joke take longer." Honestly, I don't even got the slightest clue who could say that, but it kind of feels like there's some shade in that line. And in that case, Zubal, Jax, or Pomni seem like the most solid candidates to drop it. But other than being a fun fact, we don't really get much out of this, because based on past leaks like this, the line doesn't really carry any deep meaning. Or maybe I just didn't catch it. If we look back at that teaser they showed us right after episode 5 dropped and line it up with what went down in episode 6, then even if it was indirect, the creators still kinda hinted at some of episode 6's events with that teaser. So the teaser after episode 6's also gotta hold some important meaning for episode 7, and I think I caught the main message the devs were sending. First off, we see a trash can somewhere on the circus tent grounds. and I'll be real with y'all. For the first couple seconds, I legit thought it was an actual trash can in the real world, and someone just tossed that photo in it. On the photo itself, we see Jax and Pomni still looking happy right after the scene where Jax lays out his world view on the digital circus. The wildest part is that the photo was actually taken by Jax. That feels extra weird considering what we saw later, but you'll get what I mean in a bit. Right now that pic's lying in the trash, and it's only logical that somebody tossed it, and since we get that, Jax most likely wouldn't keep it. And even though we know for sure that Jax did and said all that on purpose so he wouldn't get attached to anyone, his so-called mask still wouldn't let him keep a pic like that. Which means we can be certain Pomni kept that photo, cause at first, she genuinely believed that after everything they went through together, they'd become real friends.
We could just be winners. As a team.
We're not a team, come on.
What do you mean? Yes, we are.
Delusional.
Weren't we kind of bonding over being chaotic evil together?
I was merely entertaining you because I thought it was funny.
But after everything that went down, we get that Pomni actually got disappointed in Jax as a friend, and that's exactly why she tossed their fun photo together. I'm more than sure this moment's gonna get referenced in episode 6, but it's important to understand that doesn't mean Pomni's written off Jax or won't interact with him anymore. We already figured out that Pomni's super sensitive about everything that goes down in the digital circus, and I'm more than sure she ain't just gonna let this slide. Even though she now totally gets that she's not gonna be friends with Jax, the scene at the Favorite Character Awards makes it clear that Pomni's still affected by the whole situation. They won't be friends because Jax really cut off all the chances for that. But in episode 7, we're 100% gonna see Pomni trying to reach Jax and figure out why all this is happening. A lot of people already came up with wild theories picturing Jax turning into an abstracted monster in the next episode, or at least being on the edge of it. Everybody remembers that Jax's voice actor is Michael Kovac, and if we check that post on X and Gooseworx's reply to it, it's pretty clear that literally anything could happen to Jax except him going abstracted. Another topic that's crazy important to talk about is Caine and his slow shift into an AI that can't even control himself anymore. That scene really makes you think that even crazier stuff's gonna start happening in the digital circus,